Our film begins in the savannah forests with a tribe of monkeys who seemed happy and were dancing to celebrate Queen Simon, the wife of the tribe's king, giving birth to a new baby, the future prince and heir to the throne. The king stood in the middle of the tribe, overjoyed by their celebration, waiting for Dr. Vladimir to call him so he could see his son. When Dr. Vladimir arrived, he told the king there was a small problem and he needed to see for himself. The king was shocked when he entered his wife's chamber and found she had given birth to twins. Not just one monkey. The firstborn, who was supposed to be the heir, was very weak, with a small body, unlike the other monkeys in the tribe. In contrast, the second monkey was strong, just like the rest of the tribe. The tribe's witch entered and advised the king to get rid of the weak monkey because he didn't resemble them, wouldn't be of any use, and couldn't become the heir. The king hesitated, but the witch influenced him, and before the queen woke up, he ordered Vladimir to dispose of the weak monkey as quickly as possible. The queen woke up, very ill, and asked about her babies, saying they should be taken care of. Then she died shortly after. Simon took the strong monkey and presented him to the tribe, announcing him as the new heir, named Fanya. The monkeys all cheered and welcomed him. Meanwhile, Vladimir took the weak baby and went to the wolves to dispose of him, as the king had ordered. But when he was about to throw the monkey, the baby grabbed his hand and wouldn't let go. Vladimir was moved by this and decided to keep him, taking it as a sign that this monkey was meant to live. However, he changed his mind because his ultimate loyalty was to the king. He tried to throw the monkey again, but the baby clung to him, and a wolf bit his hand. Luckily, his leg got caught in tree branches, and he managed to save himself. He hung from the branch until a monkey named Ian came and rescued him. Ian tried to help him stand on his hands and feet so he could walk, but the baby's hand was injured and he was too weak to walk. The little monkey climbed onto Ian's back, and Ian happily carried him, naming him Edward. Edward grew up with Ian, and they got along well. One day, they fought over who hid something from the other. Edward saw a rat and chased it, but the injury from the wolf when he was young made his movements slow. He couldn't catch the rat, fell, and started thinking of a plan to trap it without moving. Before he could execute his plan, he heard the sound of a ball game starting among the monkey tribe. He wanted to watch, but Ian refused because the monkeys bullied him. Edward convinced him to give them another chance, and they went to watch the match. Fanya was the winner, skillfully throwing the ball into the hanging skull. The ball landed near Ian, who tried to catch it despite Edward's warning. Because of this, both fell onto the playing monkeys, and the ball rolled into a hole. The monkeys were surprised, but Edward used his intelligence. He took a stick from a gum tree, stuck it to the ball, and pulled it out. The monkeys cheered, happy to have their ball back. Fanya came to take the ball and throw it to continue the game, but it stuck to his hand. The monkeys all tried to help, but the ball wouldn't come off. King Simon was watching with Vladimir and the witch when the ball accidentally hit the king's head. Vladimir tried to remove it, but the ball stuck to the king's hair, pulling much of it out. When the witch saw Edward, she noticed his legs looked unique and realized he was King Simon's son, the one they had tried to dispose of as a baby. She confronted Vladimir, asking why he hadn't killed him as agreed. Vladimir lied, claiming he had, but the witch ordered him to find a solution to this disaster. Fanya eavesdropped and learned he had an older brother who could take his throne. He became furious and plotted ways to eliminate Edward, grabbed Edward without losing his rule. The next day, Edward tried to save Ian climbing down birds about a place called the White Mountain. King Simon screamed, a land full of trees, lakes, and abundant food unharmed. When he woke
Edward
up,
said
he
it
saw
wasn't
Ian on a tree
real,
branch,
but Ian
trying to reach him,
insisted it
but
existed
failing, because
He
the
walked
birds
into the
told
forest,
him.
blind at first.
Suddenly,
Then found some
Marcel
fruit.
and Sergei,
To
to
his
his
surprise,
monkeys,
he realized he could
arrived
stand
and
on
said
his
the
legs.
king wanted to see
He ran
Edward.
backward near ostriches.
Edward
thrilled
stood
he could
before
move
the
fast,
king, who
but a
accused
rhino
him of being a
charged,
sorcerer,
nearly trampling him.
But
The
Edward
king saw
denied
this
it
and saved
saying
Edward,
he only
standing in
used
front of the
clever
rhinos,
tricks,
using all
not
his
magic,
strength to push them away.
To prove his
One
point,
rhino charged
he made a
Edward,
crown from
but the king
leaves.
rescued him in time.
Impressed the king.
When Edward
and the
regained
tribe.
consciousness, he checked
He
on the
then
king,
used a
who had
large
saved
tree
him.
branch
The
filled
king
with
begged for
water
forgiveness
as a mirror
for
for the
abandoning
king
him
to
as a
save
baby,
himself,
and told
and
Edward he was
crafted a
his son.
throne from leaves.
Then died.
The king sat
Edward
on
took
it,
his father's body to
amazed.
the forest, stunned
The
by
witch,
what he'd heard.
watching angrily,
He couldn't stop
sent a
thinking about
swarm
the
of
king's
insects
words.
to attack
The monkey
them.
tribe prepared
King
to bid
Simon
farewell to the
fell
king,
from his throne
and Fanya
down
took
the
his
hill,
place.
but
As
grabbed a
punishment
tree
for failing
branch
to kill
before
Edward,
hitting the ground.
Fanya banished
climbed
Vladimir
back
and
up.
replaced him with his cousin
The witch
Sergei.
blamed Edward,
Sergei
saying
brought
he
female
used
monkeys
magic
for
to
Fanya
summon
to
the
choose a bride,
insects.
as the tribe needed a queen. During the coronation, lightning struck and the monkeys panicked. Ian and Edward took the king's body and buried him. Lightning struck a tree in the forest, and Edward was fascinated by the fire. He picked up a stick and realized he could control it. Rain soon extinguished the flames. A tornado formed in the forest, and Vladimir, banished by the witch, had nowhere to hide. The storm swept him away. Edward tried to escape but got caught in the tornado. Inside, he saw many animals struggling to survive. He noticed a sad female monkey being carried away and tried to save her. He tied himself to a tree with a vine but was thrown into a pit. Using his strong legs, he climbed out, pulling the monkey with him. After the storm, the monkey woke up and slapped Edward, not realizing he had saved her. When she saw the destroyed surroundings, she cried. Realizing her tree was gone, she ran away, and Edward followed, crossing paths with a rhino and a valley, before finally reaching her. He introduced himself, and she said her name was Lucy. Surprised that he walked on two legs, she asked him to teach her. They sat together on a hill, watching the sunset. Edward pointed to a tree and said his family lived there, inviting Lucy to meet them. On the way, they encountered lava. Edward used his intelligence to light a torch and guide their path. When they reached the tree, the monkeys were shocked he could control fire. Fanya appeared, snatched the torch, and Edward tried to show him its uses. But they lost control, starting a wildfire. The terrified monkeys fled. The witch seized the moment, blaming Edward for all the tribe's troubles. Heartbroken, Edward and Lucy left for the wolves' den, where he used fire to scare them away and claimed the place. They learned to hunt, knock fruit from trees with rocks, and even cook with fire. They tamed wolves to avoid attacks. One day, while cooking, the monkeys smelled the food and were tempted. Despite the witch's orders, they left the tree, except for Ruby, who stayed with Fanya. The monkeys went to Edward's place. Lucy was angry and wanted them gone, but Edward convinced her to let them stay just for the night. They had a joyful time together. Fanya watched from afar, upset his family had left him. The witch vowed revenge on Edward, and the tribe decided to live with her. Weeks later, Edward and Lucy married. During their celebration, a tree branch fell on Edward. He called for help, but the monkeys, afraid of the fire, fled as the tree burned. The witch died in the fire. Fanya intervened at the last moment, saving Edward and asking for forgiveness. With their home destroyed, the monkeys despaired, believing they would die. But Edward remembered Ian's words about the White Mountain and told them to follow the birds. After days of walking, they reached the White Mountain, a beautiful paradise. Edward was amazed it was real. There, he reunited with Ian, and they all lived happily ever after.